he comes in, he goes, Angel Cruz. And I'm like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I know you, man. You got great reviews. I'm like, really?
Right.
And your pictures are all over the place. And we had to come here and
Hello, my name is Gerren Sproul, and today I'm sitting in with Angel Cruz. It's a buddy of mine. I've known him for quite some time. Being in the janitorial industry, being in the blue collar industry, we bumped into each other a number of times. And over the past couple of years, you have been instrumental in supporting us, where you
absolutely,
work,
yeah.
supporting us and helping us to grow our business. And we've never had a chance to sit down and just like just talk. I mean, we've over the counter, we've talked about, the similarities in us having, children, having girls.
Girls,
Our homes are filled with estrogen, right?
a lot of estrogen.
Even the dog,
Yeah.
even the dog. Dog for me, dogs for him,
Dogs for me. Yeah.
right? But I really wanted to take the time to sit down with you and just find out more about you and find out like what got you into the industry, what drives you. I know you do a lot of work with leadership, training, and things of that nature, and I thought it would be a good
Yeah.
thing for us to sit down and just shoot the breeze.
Yeah, I'm really happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here. You invited me into your home. That's an
Yeah.
honor.
Hey.
I really, not a lot of people do that. It's
Listen,
sanctuary,
it's a family
pretty cool.
type thing. So let's jump right in, man.
Do it.
Talk to me. Talk to me about like what got you into this industry. When you talk about the blue collar, like some people stumble into it, some people find themselves in it, some people choose to get into it.
Right.
Like what was it for you?
I remember growing up, my dad was always in this industry. He was a construction guy, cleaning guy. He did all kinds of. He could build you a house out of a matchbox.
Yeah.
Serious little matchsticks. He could just build you a house. And I was never interested. And he was always, oh, you got to do this. And then one day, a couple of times, I would work with him.
Yeah.
And then I was like, nah, this is not for me. So I went another route.
Okay.
I went to the business route. I went and after high school, went to college and got an associate's and in business. And then I said, you know what? I'm just gonna stick with this. I liked it for a while, but I didn't like sitting at a desk. And I found that out a couple of years later. And it didn't take me 20 years. It took me 2 years to say, no, I can't do this.
He was quick with
So so one day, my wife, who I met about 1998, we got married, and she said, hey, I want to move to Florida. Let's go.
Okay.
Quit my job. I said, let's go to Florida.
Wow.
And then the first job I ever got in Florida was a janitorial distribution company.
So, okay, so you worked at a janitorial distribution company.
Right.
So was it in the warehouse? Was it
No, I
down the
did
counter?
customer service first.
Okay.
Because I figured it was a temporary job.
Yeah.
So I said, I could do this. I can vibe with people. I can talk to people. So then after that,
40 years later.
yeah, that was a good one. Because after that, I guess the leadership there caught an eye and said, hey, this guy can do stuff.
Yeah.
You're not self-aware like that
Yeah.
sometimes. I really wasn't, And they switched me from one place to another place to running one and then running 4 different stores.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
and then within that, I've learned from a lot of people in our industry, who I've worked with, and I sat in their training courses,
Yeah.
and then I saw different leaderships that came in, and you were like, no, yes, no, yes. So I kind of soaked that in.
Okay.
And one day, one of the trainers left, and they were like, Angel, we need you to, step in.
Isn't it beautiful when those things kind of work out that way?
Yeah, and I was like, that's not really what I want to do, but it's not what you want to do. It's, fate.
Yeah.
So that's how it started. And I just love the vibe that I got from everybody, the energy, especially when you explain things in kind of like an easy term. Everybody wants, a lot of the training that I've taken are too technical. They want to tell you the components of a product. They want to break it down. I'll do that for you.
Yeah.
But I want to show you what's the best way you can use and utilize what you have.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I'm going to give you more input to make it easier. I'll try to make your job a lot easier. That's how I started knowing people interested in the aha moments.
Yeah. Now listen, I'm not going to let you like slip this one by. I heard you
Right.
say, and I was working, and then they had me managing this store and this store and this store.
Right.
Like that's a big accomplishment.
And I didn't think about it at the time. At
Yeah.
the time, I was like, when opened up one store, they put me there. They helped me for a couple of weeks, and then one of the guys, one of the leaders that were working there said, Angel,
It's
I'm
yours.
handing it to you.
Whew.
And then it kind of grew. I'm not going to take all credit, because, it's a team effort.
Sure.
And, but the leadership at the time was very, let me give you a hand.
Okay.
Yeah, they
So
were.
there was some support there.
One did say, I leave it to you, but you get scared when you're
Mm-hmm.
just doing there. So I was a little afraid, but after that, I started getting people in.
Yeah.
I saw the people were receptive to helping them,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
demeaning them, not telling them they don't know how to do things,
Yeah.
but to say, tell me what you know, and let's go from there. That's how it all started.
The smile that's coming across my face is because I've turned into a softie. Don't hold it against me, right? But no, just the fact that you recognize that these are people, right? And
Absolutely.
you respected them as such.
Yeah.
You taught them in a way that was meaningful to them, something in a way that they would understand.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that speaks volumes to the type of work that you're doing now.
Absolutely.
As far as you're training people, you're taking them through leadership training, as well as how to use the tools, how to use the products. And because of all of that back training that you had,
Mm-hmm.
where you talk to people in a way that they would understand,
Yeah.
it's all like working out.
Yeah, it really did. And then, one time I tried to get technical, and it just didn't
It
work
didn't
out.
fall, it fell
It
flat.
didn't work out. Well, it didn't work out first because I heard myself
Yeah.
telling them in a certain way, and then the look on their face, I said, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then quickly, when I noticed that, it was like, I'm going to say this scenario was like 10 people.
Yeah.
At least 6 of them were like, huh?
Yeah.
And then I just turned it around, kind of like closed that book and said, okay, we're going to do it this way. And then I started getting all that,
The feedback.
the feedback, the questions, the hand raising,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Engagement.
okay, so I'm going to stick to this book because
Okay.
it works.
Okay.
And it's been working ever since.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Was it when you decided to stick to it this way, did you find as though it was difficult for you? Or was it easy for you? Like how was that? I don't want to say that transition because it could have been just natural for you. Like,
Yeah.
how did that happen?
I just saw that because, in some of the training, they never had, well, not never, they didn't have a lot of bilingual training.
Okay.
So when you try to speak to them in English and they don't really understand it,
Yeah.
some people are not going to say, Gerren, I don't understand English.
Yeah.
I get that, but they try because they want to.
Yeah.
So, and then when I saw that, I was like, okay, let me try a different
I
tactic.
got something there. Yeah.
So, and then instead of saying something in English and Spanish, I started doing the booklets in English and Spanish. I started putting the PowerPoints in English and Spanish.
Okay.
And then I just kept the wording simple.
Yeah.
Not simple where I think people won't understand it, because most people, I got surprised by the way most people will come up to me after. It was the way I interpreted to them, and they received it. And it was like, not everybody receives everything the same. But I'm going to say that 80% would actually come up and say, I got everything you said.
Yo.
And that was a great aha
Yo.
moment. You know what I mean?
Like on the inside, I'm feeling so good. I'm feeling so good, right? Because there's a lot of people who work in this industry, and you have a full range, right? You got people who don't have the amount of education that you may have, right?
Right.
And some who have the PhD, the doctorate, they got the whole everything to put on the wall.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people find themselves in this industry because they know how to clean, right?
Right.
When I was at home, when I was growing up, my mother always taught me how to clean. I know how to clean so I could go out and start a business.
Absolutely.
And there's sometimes, I won't say it's always, they have a complex where they're like they know more than me, right? Like, I don't know if I'm going to get it. And your ability to connect with them in a way that they got it and they felt empowered at the end of
Absolutely.
that must have felt really good to,
Yeah,
to you.
it really did.
Yeah.
One person told me, Angel, you have to self-validate yourself. You have to brag a little bit about yourself. It's not in my nature. It's really not. And I'm not perfect in any way, but I know how to relate, because growing up, I was a product of, I grew up in a poor section of Brooklyn.
Yeah.
My family didn't have much. People outside of that would look down on us, but I'm happy to have a family that would always say, "You're way better than them."
Okay.
I didn't think I was better than them, but I knew that I could surpass that level of what's the word that I want to get without insulting them. Although I don't know if they'll see this, but their level of arrogance.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
and so I stuck with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just stuck with that.
Yeah.
And then I said, if a person comes into my store and they don't know about a product, and they sometimes look at me and say, Angel, you know what? I have this and I got to clean it. What do you recommend? I'm not going to say go to the shelf to the left, to the right, and the back and get that product there.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to walk you over there, bring out the product, show you how to use it, tell you about it, show you how to use it. And what's in it? Well, listen. That's a different.
You're getting into the weeds now.
Let's have we're gonna have to have coffee, cake, and let's
Right.
sit down and talk about what's
Right,
in it.
right.
But if you want to know how it works,
Yeah.
let's do that.
Yeah.
And that's how I relate it to everybody.
Listen, that's how you relate it to me, right? Because I mean, although I have been in the industry coming up on 2 decades now, there's a lot that I don't know. And some people get into this industry and they want to know all the technical stuff. So that person was asking you like, what's in it, right? They may have been interested and curious about all the chemicals and how it relates and how it activates. And for me, I looked at it from the standpoint of how can I serve my client?
Right?
How
Absolutely.
can I get them the results that they're looking for and put a smile on their face?
And the biggest thing, Gerren, is how can I handle this product so I can be safe? Safety
Sure.
for me. I mean, I believe that if you're going to clean someplace, you've never been there before, or you're going to start cleaning, there's other people there. You don't know what's going around.
Yeah,
Everybody could get sick.
Sure.
You know? I want to make sure that they are wearing the proper PPEs
Yes.
to use that product
Yes.
safely. And then they appreciate that even more. I mean, like, first and foremost, you got to wear gloves because this has a little bit of acid.
Right.
This has 20% acid. I want to tell them that. And so when they hear that, that's when they're like, dude, I didn't even think about that.
So again, I don't want this to go by, right? Because I'm thinking about myself and I'm putting myself back in the beginning when I started, when it was just a rag, a backpack vacuum, and some pine saw, right? I didn't know anything about chemicals and all. I was just kind of like shooting from the hip. Is it clean? Does it smell good? Is the client happy? Okay, we're good, right? So you have people in different stages of their growth, right? Some people who are just starting out, mop and bucket style. Some people who have they have everything all lined up and labeled off and all that stuff, and so forth. Okay. Again, I go back to your style and your method of helping people.
Yeah.
Right. It's not just about selling them the product and saying,
No.
go your merry way. You are empowering people.
So, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Because like you said before, some people are kind of shy, about asking.
Yeah.
Or, okay, I cleaned at my house, but this is a bigger picture here.
Yeah.
I'm cleaning an office.
Yeah.
I always tell them, okay, domestic cleaning, commercial cleaning is 2 different things. Yes, we know how to clean, but we want to take it to another level because now we're getting paid.
Yeah.
You want not just the money, because it's not always about the money. It's about word of mouth. Because you can advertise all you want, but
Somebody's talking bad about you out there.
yeah. Yeah. So I think empowering them to use not just that product, but to show them the process and the procedures.
Yeah.
And giving them a visual of a workflow chart and all that kind of
Oh,
helpful
Yeah.
tools, that'll make them go skipping out the door.
yeah,
Like, I
it
got
does.
this.
Yeah,
got
and I
this.
feel like a big business.
Yeah,
It's those little,
absolutely.
those little subtle things. Like look at my chart. Look at my labels. Right. Like I feel better about myself.
Absolutely.
And that's so big in this industry, man. Because so many times people are looked down upon, but it feels good coming into the store, seeing you, and then you taking customers, taking clients, taking even myself, right, through the process of how to do this, so that when the scariest part, Angel, is when someone meets you on a Friday
Oh yeah.
and they have the weekend job to do,
Yep.
and they know that the store is going to be closed.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Here's the equipment. Here are the cleaning solutions. You can do this, and you have no one to call over the weekend.
Oh, they call me.
Oh,
You know why? Because when you have a customer that's going to do a job over the weekend, and you can sense that they need some kind of
hand holding a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, I have my work phone, and of course, I'll keep it on that weekend because mine shuts off at 6.
Yeah.
But I keep it on, and then when I hear them calling, they'll videotape,
Yeah.
they'll
Send a video.
send a
Hey,
video, Angel,
hey, this is what's going on.
and sometimes it's the simplest thing. A couple of times I've gone out of my way, and I've gone to their place just to see because sometimes a video doesn't do it justice, and you actually want to see. Stained floors look like marble floors. They don't know what's the difference.
Yep.
Can I use this on a tile? Can I use this?
It's like somebody doing
So
an
you
etch.
got you
Yeah.
you got to kind of like be involved.
I'm not surprised that you said that you would do stuff like that, just from our interactions over the years, right? And I want to say thank you.
There's no need.
But
That's
thank
what
you
we
on
do.
behalf of those individuals, man, because I know how difficult it is on a Saturday night, it's late, or even on a Sunday night, and you know that the client is coming in the morning, and you want to make it right, and you have questions, or something isn't working, and if you had your phone on to help me or anyone else
absolutely, yeah.
through the process, oh, brother,
Yeah.
brother.
It's kind of hard. I've been on both sides of the spectrum,
Yeah.
so I know exactly.
Yeah.
When you talked about like the first time they come in and they buy equipment, I was hired by a company that I remember when the owner first walked into my store.
Did you know he was the owner?
Yeah,
Okay. All right. All
she's
right.
the owner. She's very clear.
She made it clear. Got it.
She came in and she was like, her words were like, I need a product to clean this and this, but I really need it to work. I gave her the product. And she was kind of intense, because she's starting her business and
Yeah.
she's gonna do her client's house. I think it was a house or an office. Anyway, whatever it was, it could have been sweeping up a floor. She wanted the best broom.
Yeah.
So and then I gave her that. I said, this is what you do. She comes back and she says, I need somebody to help me run my business. I recommended her to somebody. That person and her to this day now run a successful cleaning business.
Check that out.
Yeah. And then it's funny because when I needed a job, they hired me. And the funny thing is that the guy who hired me said, hey, this is full circle. You helped me.
Yeah.
I was like, that's when I started to realize, oh man, it's full circle.
This is awesome. This is awesome.
Yeah.
When you're serving your community, serving your clients, you just never know. You never know how that's going to come back around.
You never know.
It's not just about the repeat customer,
No.
right? You just never know.
No,
It's
you
a
never
small
know.
world, small community.
Yeah, it's actually, our industry is a small community.
Yeah.
Large amounts of work, but it's a small community in terms of this is what we do and we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And they want to look for that person that can help them. It's not just me because, at my job right now, if I'm unsure of something, I go to my leader. And my leader, I mean, his thought processes scare me sometimes.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so when he says, this is the way you do stuff, I'm like, okay. I never go to him feeling like I don't know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I need to ask the question
Yep.
because you need to know how
Yep.
to give the proper advice or the proper procedure to a certain individual who's going to keep coming and frequenting your place of business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I go to anybody and I ask a question, I'm not gonna, I don't get embarrassed about that.
Yeah.
I need to know.
Yeah.
I'm a trainer, yes. Do I know everything? No.
Right.
But I'm gonna find out for you.
Listen, and that's one of the things that I love about where you work, man, because over the years, and I've hopped around, we've purchased tools and equipment and solutions from different companies, right? But it's been like you guys have been like solid for me, and
we appreciate you. Really
yeah, definitely, man. And I'll tell you this, to that last thing that you just said, I have walked in there clueless on some things that may be simple,
Right.
and I have never felt or walked away feeling ignorant.
Nobody should.
Again,
I know
thank
that
you.
people sometimes do because it could be that they come with the wrong information, not the wrong, maybe not all the information. So you're feeding off what they're talking about. So it's our job to ask those questions. I got to clean the floor. Is the floor greasy?
Right.
is the floor concrete? Is it polished? Blah, blah.
Yeah.
You know, and then they're like, how did all these questions
Can't
go?
come. Yeah.
How? Everything from the mop bucket. Do you have a double bucket system? Do you have a single bucket system? How often do
Yeah.
you change the water?
Yeah.
You know, it's just questions like that that you have to dig in to
Yeah.
find out, okay, now I got the information. Let's do this.
Yeah.
This is how you're gonna, this is a procedure. This is a process.
Talking about procedures and processes.
Right.
All right. When you go onto Google and you check the reviews, the Angel reviews, right, on all the training that you've done over the years and so forth, like you see, like people love your training.
It's, you know what, I rarely go on there, but when I do, it's fun. I got to tell you a quick story.
Yeah,
There was
go
a
for
couple of guys that walked in into the store, and I just happened to be at the counter with the guy that works the counter.
Yep.
And he comes in, he goes, Angel Cruz, and I'm like, yeah. He says, I know you, man. You got great reviews. I'm like, really?
Right.
And your pictures are all over the place, and we had to come here and you know, I'm like unprepared for this stuff. You know, I'm like,
Yeah, you being the shy guy who don't like to, you know,
I really, you know,
self-praise.
yeah,
Right?
you know, I just like, I was trying to contain, you know why? Because everybody around him heard. And then I'm like, I was more embarrassed that everybody heard that, you know, and then I was like, okay, how can I help you?
Yep.
And he walked away a happy customer.
There we go.
And now he's
He came a
established
happy
as-
guy too. He came happy.
Oh, he came happy because he was looking for Angel Cruz, and
Yeah.
then when he saw me, he was like, "You're the guy on all the pictures. You have all these great reviews.
Yeah.
I need to know
Boom.
this, and this."
Boom.
And we worked it out. It took 3 days to help him do what he needed to do for a
Yeah.
special project,
Yeah.
and he did it.
That's
And
awesome.
you know what? He's one of our customers right now. I mean, how much that one experience is what really humbled me to say,
Yeah.
"Oh my God, I am doing something." You know,
Yeah.
that he appreciated.
Yeah.
And then, you know, everybody now, and then that got some of my coworkers. Oh yeah, I saw the reviews all over the place, you know, and I'm like, yeah, this is all I needed. So much for low key. So much for low key.
Sometimes you need to. Sometimes it needs to be celebrated, man. The stuff that you do needs to be celebrated. So I'm glad that they did.
My boss told me one time, you need to toot your own horn sometimes. You need to validate yourself.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's not, don't look at it as a brag or a boast. Look at it as a proud moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? And I took that in because you know what? He's right.
And I think highlighting some of these things, even in this sit down, is good for people to know, man, because you've been doing this stuff in the way that you've been doing it for all these years.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people don't know where to find someone of high character or someone they can trust, someone they can feel safe with in their ignorance in this industry. And to know that people are out there, the youth of the world, is wonderful, right?
It's awesome, yeah, because, you know, it's not just the way I do it, it's the way I've been helped.
Okay.
You know what I
So
mean?
you're reflecting.
Yes, so it's a kind of a reflection. It's like you mentioned my leadership courses, right? It's a 4-part leadership course. And then I did get a few people saying, what qualifies you to give leadership courses? I'm like, well, I did take leadership training, but that's not where I got it from. Leadership starts at home.
Let's go.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It has to start at home. You know, your mother's the boss, your father's the leader. Your father's the boss, your mother's the leader. It's kind of like your brothers and sisters you grew up with. Your siblings are all leaders and bosses in their own way.
Yeah.
Nobody knows that yet.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
as your character gets older, you start to see
develops,
these things.
yeah.
And then in all the places that I've worked, I've seen bosses and I've seen leaders. And then you have to take that in as, I don't want to do this to make my employee feel this. I want to do this to make sure that my employee feels empowered to do his job.
Yeah.
And that was my takeaways from all the industries that I've been in.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not from the industry that
that
I
you've
have been in.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
You know, over the years, I've evolved from just being the owner of a janitorial company to a coach, right? Blue collar mind coach. You can find me online, right? What I've done is I have focused so much on the mindset of how to like build culture, how to build relationships
Absolutely,
deeply
yes.
and fast.
And fast.
Right? In this industry, there's a lot of churn. People come in, people leave. Some people jump in just to get a part-time job to buy a car, and then they're gone.
Then
right?
they're gone.
Some people staying for the long haul. But the question is, when we brush shoulders with people, it's like, how can we learn about them and create a deepened relationship fast? because you just don't know how long
You
you can
you
have that
really
moment.
don't. It's more than a resume, you know. You got to get to know your workers. You got to
Yeah.
get to know your employees.
Yeah.
First of all, workers, employees. I don't even use that term anymore.
Tell me what you use.
I use partners or I use team. My crew, my team.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
I love
because
that.
you know you don't. You could be a worker, but what does that tell you? You're just a worker.
Just a worker.
You're a statistic. You don't want to feel like that. You want to feel like I'm part of this team.
Right.
You know, my boss told me when he first hired me, do it.
Mm.
You know, after he trained me and
Yeah.
showed me what he wants done,
Yeah.
he says, Angel, just do it.
Yeah.
And he didn't just say that, he showed me how to do it. And that's what we have to do. That's leadership.
Would you know when I was building my business, my first set of employees came through a traumatic experience.
Right.
My subcontractor at the time, they decided to quit on us unexpectedly, and they fired all of their employees at the same time. But because when they would work on the job sites, I would come around and I would high five them. Hey,
Absolutely,
I see how
yeah.
you doing tonight.
That's right.
Thank you for doing what you're doing. I was just building a light relationship with them, respecting the owner, right? I wasn't trying to get myself wedged in between,
Right,
but I
right.
wanted to show them like, yo, I appreciate the work that you're doing. And I notice you when you're tired, like, can I get you a Gatorade? Can I buy you something? All of that little nurturing, I didn't know that I would need it. So when they fired them and I was looking for people, I showed up on my job site and like 19 people were standing there. And they said, Gerren, if you'd hire us, we'll work for you.
Right, right.
My first thing to them was, we unboxed all of the vacuums and everything, the buckets, and I said, where do you need me to go?
Right.
And they were like, you're the boss. I'm like, you're the boss. Where do you need me to go?
You know what we got to do. Where do
Right.
you need me to go?
Tell me, right?
Right.
And they were like, can you go up on this floor and vacuum? Got it. And I want you to inspect after me.
Right.
So immediately I was building them up to let them know, like, yo, you can lead
Absolutely.
from your position.
Yep.
Tell me how is that story, how is that played into your things that you've done?
Oh, it's always plays. You know, it's one thing to delegate. You know, a lot of people do delegate, bosses, sometimes leaders, because you know, leaders have boss qualities, bosses have leadership qualities.
Yeah.
So when you delegate without teaching them and just point and say that's what you got to do, you're not showing them anything except that's the area you got to clean.
Yeah.
How do you clean it? How do you want it done?
Yeah.
How do you yourself inspect it? That's the thing. Inspect your own work.
Yeah.
You know, that's part of the process and procedures, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the tools, I'm going to give you the knowledge, I'm going to go in there and dirty my hands,
Yep.
and then you're going to inspect your own work.
Yep.
Why? Because you know you can do it. The minute that you finish that job and it doesn't look right to you, you know it doesn't look right to you.
Yeah.
Fix it. And if you need help fixing it, come to me.
Yeah.
We're going to fix it together.
Yeah.
That's just the way it should be. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
it's not always that way.
It's not always that way.
And not to criticize anybody, because everybody has their own methods. You know
Yep,
what I mean?
they do,
But it
they
is
do.
something that I just seen
Yeah.
throughout the 20 plus years that I've been doing
Yeah.
this. You know?
Yeah. I like that. I some of the things that I do with my team members is I ask them when I show up on site, I would ask them, hey, what tools do you need? You've been doing this, you've been working your role, your route. What do you think you need that will help you do your job faster, more efficiently, or even easier? Tell me. Oh no, Gerren, we're fine. I noticed that you were doing X, Y, Z.
Right.
What if you had, do you think that would help? You know what? Yeah.
That
Gerren,
might, that might
so
just
I'm
work.
trying to like, it's kind of like, you remember when, I'm showing my age. Remember when we used to use the starter fluid to like spray into the
Right
carburetor?
into the carburetor,
Okay.
yeah.
So I'm just trying to give them like a little starter fluid to help them kind of like spark some thinking.
That's way
right?
back. I'm
Yeah,
just
I
kidding.
know.
I'm up there. So I'm up there.
I don't want people to just come to me and ask what to do.
Yeah.
I told my manager recently, I said, listen, man, I pay you guys to solve problems.
Right.
I pay you to hire people who are problem solvers. I want them to start thinking of themselves that way, because I want them to look at an account that they're working, and I would say to them like, hey, you're project managers.
Right.
Run this account, manage this account, do it well. Here are some tools that you can use. I'll give you what else you think you might need, but I want to see how you can manage it, manage the budget, the whole nine.
Yeah.
Because I want to empower them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you were in the forefront saying, let's do this together. And then you would say,
A back away.
I'm back away.
Yep.
You know, recently you talked a little bit about, you know, you validated your coworkers. I do that a lot at work.
Okay.
I really do. Because there's one in particular that, you know, does almost everything there. A lot of people see it as one thing. I see it as me when I was doing that.
Okay.
But this person was. I recently took this person. I said, "Can you walk with me?" And we walked. And I told her, hey, I appreciate you. Everything I learned here is
Yeah.
because of you. I mean, I've had other people teach me stuff, but she was the forefront.
I like it.
She didn't sit me there and say, "This is how we're gonna do it." She was
Yeah.
like, we don't sit down. You
Yeah.
get up on the computer. Let's do this.
I
That's
like
the way
that.
we did it. And then, you know, all my coworkers, it could be anywhere from the warehouse guys, service guys. I always have something to say to them. I always say, "Hey, you guys did a great job."
I
Or,
like that.
it's good to come in and you have people. This is the best part about going to work because everybody's like, "You're too happy in the morning." Do you have dead bodies in your class? I'm like, "Hey, come on.
Hey.
Hey, now." I said, "No, I'm happy because I just wake up that way.
Yeah.
I'm just happy to be awake."
Yeah. It's a beautiful
And
way.
when I walk into work, I get so many high fives, hellos, and whatnot. There's
Beautiful.
a lot of laughter there. We got to get to work because the work's got to get
Sure,
done.
sure.
But you got to have that camaraderie
Yep.
and that appreciation for your coworkers because you know what? When I need something and I need to go to the warehouse guys,
I know exactly what you're saying.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or I need to go to service, or I need to go to
Or
my
you need something
bosses,
fast.
or fast. It's like, I got you, Angel. Don't worry about it. I love that. You know what? Because I would do the same thing for them.
And you were investing in them when you come in the morning, getting everybody, up
Everybody,
and running.
yeah.
Yeah.
If it's a little
Fist
or a
bump,
high
all of that.
five,
Yeah.
whatever. But it's just you got to validate your coworkers.
Yeah.
It's
You said something that that resonated with me, and it reminded me of someone who there was a guy who came to our home the other day, and they were kind of talking to us about AT&T fiber within our neighborhood.
Right.
And the gentleman said he was training a lady, and he said over the past couple of days I got to run the team. And I asked him, I said, "How was that for you?" And he said, "Well, one of the things that I'm working on is I tend to be very direct. But I'm learning that I have to kind of be, warm and fuzzy with the team and so forth, tell them thank you." And I told him, I said, when you thank them, don't just say, "Thank you, team, for what you've done." Say, "Thank you for the way that you did this."
Absolutely.
Like break it down to what
Yeah,
they
break
did.
it down a little bit.
Right?
Absolutely.
Because that lets them know you were paying attention.
Yeah.
And it helps them to do that thing again. And I heard you mention that you would thank the team for XYZ.
Right.
Where did you learn that from? Versus just a wholehearted thank you.
Where did I learn that from?
Yeah.
When people start appreciating you, I never had a problem where nobody, I'm very blessed to say I'm very blessed because everywhere I worked, everybody, you do your job, but I don't do it to get recognized.
Yeah.
I do it because it's a job. If it's outside of my work
Yeah.
space, I'm gonna do it because you know what? We function as a company.
Okay.
So whenever I just don't know, Gerren. It just people appreciate what I do, and
Yeah.
I started to appreciate what they do.
What they do. I
You
love
know,
that.
it's like you have to look at both sides. It can't be just you.
Yeah.
It's not your company. It's
Yeah.
our company.
Yeah.
I may own it, but guess what? I'm empowering you to do this and this and this, and I appreciate that work.
I love that. I love that.
That's just the way it's got to be.
So I want to I want to go back to this part where you talked about the training that you do for companies. Okay. So going back to people seeing your reviews, they like what they're seeing. I have to believe that companies are calling you in to train their staff.
I've had a few.
What's that been like?
It's eye-opening.
Okay.
It's really, because one or two of them are actually companies that are our clients, but they never really paid attention to our training
Okay.
until they need it now.
Okay.
And not that they're doing a bad job, they just wanted a structure. One company wasn't a part of, our
your client base?
They
They
wasn't a
weren't-
partner.
Okay.
Yeah, I like to call it partner.
Partners. Yep.
Yeah, they weren't one of our partners, and they just called me out of the blue. And he mentioned, "I read your reviews, and I need you to come in and assess my building." I had no idea what I was getting into because it was a huge building
Okay.
with a lot of equipment, a lot of people working there.
Okay.
And they simply told me, "We need a process.
So
We're cleaning, we're doing this." We went everywhere, and it didn't look bad. They just needed structure.
so they had, I'm assuming that they had day porters working?
They had 2 day porters working,
Okay.
but they worked 8 hours, so that was
Okay,
it. And
okay.
they did everything.
Yep.
special projects like carpet and stuff, they subcontract. But they actually had two people working. And what he was saying was my guys are butting heads over dilution control, over where to start, where to stop, you know.
Okay.
And to me, when I took this all in, I took it to my boss because, I thought it was pretty big.
Yeah.
And then when my boss broke it down a little bit and I sat there and I just read everything I wrote, my notes plus what he sent me. And then I love that, I'll send you an email. This is what we talked about. Thank you very much. He sent me a longer email with this. So I put it all together.
Yep.
And then I said, you know what? It's just a process. I'm still waiting to hear from him. But I did call him back and he was like, oh, listen.
Things have gotten better.
Things have gotten a little better, but I haven't given them training, but I gave them like kind of a heads up.
Okay.
There are some companies out there that won't give that heads up because they actually want to go in and do
the training,
But when they see, anybody sees that you're going to help them from the outside in because you already know what you're doing. And then you're saying, hey, this will work better this way. Why don't you try it?
Yeah.
He called me back and he said, we're getting together with the management team and we're going to figure things out for you and you're going to come in and do some training, blah, blah, blah.
That's awesome.
And that was pretty good. And all he started with, I read your reviews. I was like, okay.
Reviews are important.
Yeah, I guess they are.
Yeah.
I never thought of it, but yeah.
And again, man, people are out there scurrying across Google trying to find out, like, who can help me? Who can help me? And again, there are companies out there who can help. Like, they have the processes in place, but do they have an angel? Right? Do they have the angel method, methodology? The way that you deliver information. Do they have that? And that could be sometimes the missing component that people are looking for.
It pretty much.
Say it.
It pretty much is.
He's trying to be shy.
No, I'm not because I don't want to make it sound like.
I mean,
I'm just saying that it's they don't have that non-technical, simple analogy of what it is that they need to do. They have this process that they've been doing for 20 years. It's not working anymore, and it's kind of complicated because now you got to buy, the chemicals, the dilution, all of that stuff. They didn't realize, this company didn't realize by not having a chemical dilution system, they're wasting money.
Yeah.
And I guess that's exactly what caught, a lot of that caught their eye. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was what was butting heads with this particular company.
Yeah.
When it's everybody else and, other companies, and I go in and I just show them stuff and I love to give them information, not just say, well, why don't you hire me? And
then I'll give you the information.
And then I'll give you the information. It could work both ways, but that's the risk we take, you know? But I'm blessed to say that every time I say, let me give you a little bit of information and do this. And they say, well, I can't even, or when you don't do something, but a company that does. That's what gets them. Angel, do you do this type of training? I don't, but here's the number to the person that does call them.
So you are a resource for them also.
And it's funny because I never thought of that. I was just thought of, this guy needs, he needs assistance. Let me just give him some help. If I can't help you, I'm going to try to get somebody to help
Brother,
you.
that's valuable, man. Yeah, because I can call Angel and know that he will direct me in the right direction if he can't do it for me. No, but this is good, man. This is good because I'm seeing you as a resource for them. You're also a mediator, right? If people are butting heads because they don't know how to make this work in their 8-hour day, you come in and you're just like, hey, here, guys, like, hey, here's a way that we can
Let's
do it.
find a solution.
Yeah, and it's easy.
I mean, these guys are working together 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
So, they have to either work together or...
There's going to be a lot of friction every day.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, this is good, man. This is good knowing that this is what you do and how you help and how you serve. And I'm sure there's people out there, other companies out there who would love to have someone like Angel come in and help them to create processes within their business. Listen, Angel is a guy who's in my toolbox, right? Because sometimes I'm running into situations, right, within my business, and I call Angel up and do you know somebody? And he's put me in contact with people that I have hired, that I have worked with, that have helped me over the years, man. And this is part of what it is you do, right?
Yeah,
and
it's what everybody should do. It's helping each other. You know what I mean? Because if you're going to be the type of company or person, and I'm not knocking anybody now, but disclaimer, I'm not knocking. But if you're going to be that type of person that's just going to want everything for themselves, and then the biggest fear about somebody like that is the failure. If they cannot give you what the customer needs, or they can't deliver, that's a failure.
Yeah.
And you know that I may have great Google reviews, but word of mouth will kill you.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. And those Google reviews are kind of like word of mouth also,
Yeah,
you
definitely.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, man, keep doing what you're doing. I'll stay in the industry as long as you stay in the industry. No, I'm just kidding. Listen, it'll be what it is. We're serving the community in a variety of ways.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a
We
beautiful
do.
thing.
Yeah.
We love the people that we work with. We love the community. We love all of the individuals in the blue collar industry. Right? You work hard. You work really hard,
Thank
man.
you.
And
We all work hard.
yeah,
We have, this is not an easy industry,
no, no,
but it's a proud one.
it is, man.
You
And
know?
you know, the fact that you said it like that, I'll say this one last thing before we get out of here. A lot of times we feel as though, and it's hard, yes,
Yeah.
but a lot of times we wear that as a badge of honor. Like, yes, I'll get up and
Absolutely.
I'll work. I believe too that there's an easier way to to work within this industry. I think it's not just about the muscle,
No.
but it's also about the mindset, right? And we can step into our days with a different mindset. Look at what we do. Wake up. You talked about waking up with a state of being of gratitude, of just being joyful on the inside,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
That changes so much,
It really
right?
does.
It sets the landscape for the day, and I believe that if we begin to talk to people about how they can set their state of being when they're beginning their days, working becomes a lot easier.
It does, because when everybody, you don't know what people are bringing inside when they come to work. You know,
100%.
everybody has their
Yeah,
trials and tribulations.
yeah,
They have their
yeah,
problems. I know I did.
yeah.
I still
We
do.
all do, yeah.
You know, and you got to gather strength from that. You know, you got to learn from your mistakes, and you have to just walk in. That one smile is what's going to make that person's day.
100%.
Doesn't work with everybody,
Right, sure.
but I bug them until it does.
Okay,
You know, that's
okay.
the way it goes.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
yeah.
Listen, I hope you've liked this conversation. Chumming it up.
Yeah.
We do it a lot at the store, but it's great to be able to just sit down here comfortably and just
Yeah. Thank you
talk
for
about this.
inviting me to your beautiful house.
Yeah,
I
man.
really appreciate it. You know, like I told you when we walked in, not a lot of people would invite you into their house. I'd invite you to my house, although my dogs would probably come at you.
Hey, I mean, it's all good. It's all good.
I really do appreciate this. You know, this is my first time ever doing something like this.
Huh.
I did it once before, and it was a few minutes, but it just wasn't what this was.
Okay.
You know, because
Good.
I grew up since then, so a little bit.
Yeah.
So it made me appreciate things a lot more, but I really appreciate you very much.
I'm a appreciate you, Angel.
Thank you, Gerren.
Yes, sir.
Yep.